Hi, I'm Karen Ruimy. I'm so happy to be here and to talk about how I came up to be a spiritual teacher and a spiritual healer. Well, so what happened 30 years ago when I woke up spiritually in my life? So here I am in Paris. I'm working in finance, have an amazing job that everybody was really impressed with. And I had an MBA and then went into finance. I just wanted to have a voice. I was not obsessed with money at all, but I was more obsessed with the power of women in society. And I felt finance was really the right place to be at that time. Would be very different today though. Anyway, at that time, I was super successful and the success didn't bring me so much joy. And I felt like almost anxious about it because I felt, well, this is so weird. Why? The more you get what society wants you to have, the less you feel happiness and joy. Authentic joy. And this created in me some anxiety about life because I felt this is a break in the paradigm of life. Like, it's not success that really brings me what I'm looking for. And from there was like a spiral of questioning and kind of anxiety, and I tried psychoanalysis. And I remember that day when this amazing man told me you should revise your relationship to your dad to find this. And I felt like, well, I just felt that for 2 years with this man, I learned a lot about me, about my patterns and my relationship in my life, in my family. I felt suddenly closed in a box created by the mind, by the genius mind of an amazing psychoanalyst that everybody knows. And I felt like, wow, I can't survive in this box. I don't belong to this box. If I stay here with this explanation of my anxiety, I will die of being totally deprived from my freedom, from my spirit, from my oxygen of life. So I said, sorry, but I believe in magic, I believe in spirit, I believe in so many more things than only this box of relationship with your dad, your mom, etc. That I felt, okay, thank you for teaching me a few things, a lot of things, but thank you to show me how much I don't belong to this way of thinking. Because it's not about thinking, it's about being, it's about connecting with life juice, with life energy, with the energy of my soul, about my inner self. And I really got that, really reaffirmed that life is magical and you just have to just believe in it. It is in your heart anyway, it is in your soul, it is in everything you do. Magical life is everywhere. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to connect to yourself inside. You have to connect to the magic of life. You have to discuss with life, with nature, with the elements, with everything that is surrounding you. And nothing has to do in your life with it's the fault of this, it's this or that that is responsible for your life. No, sorry. I am sovereign about my life. I am a spirit, a soul. I am discovering it every day. Everybody is the same, by the way. That's why I'm talking about it. Otherwise, I would keep it for myself, right? So what I mean is, like, we are sovereign in this life. We bring an amazing amount of energy, of light, of love, of wisdom, of sharing, of caring. We're here to share, we're here to give, and we're here to really express what is inside, and that has been covered and hidden by so many things in this world, like you should be this, you should be that, da 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 da. So coming back to this moment when I woke up spiritually, is that I was in finance, I was super successful, earning a lot of money, and this didn't touch me. It was like raindrops on my raincoat. It was like nothing was penetrating my inside. Nothing was triggering joy. It was triggering success and ego. My ego was, wow, I'm the best. I'm 28. I'm earning this. I'm a director of blah, blah, blah. And this brings you anxiety because you feel like, okay, everything is on the shelf, but nothing touched my heart. So that's number one. From there, I felt like I need to change my life. I need to understand who I am. I need to understand what makes me smile, laugh like a child. And also what is going on inside of me, because since I'm born, I really felt a calling to spirituality, to mystics, to churches of all religions. I don't believe in only being in one religion, or I don't believe in limits. I believe in God, in the universal force, and I believe we are all part of it, and I believe we are souls who belong to this universal force. So, well, I was always attracted by the wisdom of the ancients, and I come from a family of mystics back then in Morocco, in the Atlas Mountain, and I think it always, you carry what is in your genes. You use it or you don't. It's your choice. It's your journey, right? So what happened is, like, when I was triggered by the fact that life, as successful as it was bringing me anxiety, I felt like even my body was heavy and heavier, and in the morning before going to the office, I felt like, oof, I can't. I mean, I felt like my body didn't want to bring me there anymore, you know? Ooh. So that was a shock. So I understood after a few weeks, it was time for me to revise my journey and start to work for a client from my house, like as a consultant for a foreign bank. And I felt like, oh, wow, I'm not in a structure anymore. And then I felt an immense freedom. And the day I started working from home, I was literally pulled to the table to write. I can't even remember it, but I just know that every morning I was just drawn to that kitchen table, and I was just writing my heart away. And it was not something I was used to do before. I can't tell you I was like a writer, or it was not in my habits to write at all. I mean, I'm a dancer, music, I love music, I love dancing, but I loved philosophy, etc. But then writing was my mode, was my moment where I was receiving so much wisdom through my writing that it became for 2 years my motto. That's how I was living, surviving all these incredible question I had in my mind. And I felt suddenly that I was not alone. I had a lot of glimpses of messages from different entities, presence, masters, guides, ancestors, and it was coming, from different beings. I'm not telling you now the names, and I'm totally open to it. But imagine, like, from finance, 24/7 trying to, reach success, seeing clients, being in the posh places and busy all the time with 10 phones, to suddenly becoming a kind of a mystic, someone who was completely guided in a search that I had no idea where it was going, who I was going to be, which job I was going to have, which money I was going to earn after that, So like I was like, but there's one thing that I will never never forget, sorry. It is the day I decided to quit my job. I was animated by such a force inside myself, such an energy. And this reminds me the energy when I go on stage, when, wow, you have to go there. So this is the same kind of energy, like, okay, it's time for you to quit your job because your life is not this job, and it's something that you're going to find out about it. So this is huge. And whenever you have a passionate force in yourself, you can't ignore it. Because if you ignore it, I call it self-torture, because it's a force, you're animated by a passionate fire or a very deep train of energy that will never stop talking to you and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's like an artist who doesn't listen to his gifts, So that's what happened to me. So I remember that day when I went to quit, so my boss was looking at me like she's totally in or a net case or in a crazy day. And he was very upset. And I knew I had no choice. So I did it. And I was very afraid. Like when you jump in a very, in a pool from a very high... Just when you jump in a pool and it's very, very far high, like in Mexico when they jump from the high rocks, in Acapulco. I felt that. And I did it. And then I had to how do you say, live with this. I had to live socially a lot of groups because I could not even tell them why, because I didn't know myself. So from there, I started writing, searching, and I finally had time by myself, which I was not aware. I didn't know how it was to be always alone. I really enjoyed it so much. I really felt, wow, this is me, I was going into in nature, in parks. I was walking in Paris a lot. Paris was a very good friend for me. Because it's a city that is talking. Wherever you go, Paris is talking and giving you a lot of energy. If you are in that kind of artistic mood or research. And I think on Earth you'll find a lot of places like that and you are called to them. Could be also in nature. And down the road I've been going a lot to Arizona, by the way, because Arizona is a land that has kept for me a lot of secret and revealed them as I was opening myself to them. So that's how it all started. I know it was crazy to do it, but I knew I had no other choice, so I've done it. And from there I started writing, and I started really like unfolding like a book of knowledge and wisdom about my life. And after 2 years, I really felt that everything I was writing that was not for me alone, was totally for me. It was totally for any human being. It was really unfolding truth about emotions, unfolding truth about the ego, the childhood, how a child is under the influence of the world, the parents, the school, the judgment of peers, and how the child is building an ego to protect itself and how it needs the ego to survive. And then after many years, the ego, instead of helping you, is just manipulating you into something you are not. So that was a long teaching, and then I discovered I wanted to share my writings, my spiritual writings. And I was guided to an amazing publisher in France, Guy Daniel, and then I gave my writings like a block of paper, and he really felt it was great or right, and then he published me. So, and I called it the Metamorphosis of the Angel, because for me, the soul is an angel, and there is no difference. We can talk about this subject for a while, but I'm not here for that in this moment. So, the whole book was about how you think you are this human being as an ego, and how inside lays the soul, and the soul is behind that ego and is not living the life promised to be, and then that the ego, the more you work spiritually, is just opening and releasing the grasp on your truth, and the more you work spiritually, the more you can release everything that is not true about you, and come to a state that is more true, more balanced, more harmonious, and then your soul can come out, from the shell. And that's the metamorphosis of the angel. So that was my first book. It was a big piece of my life in this book. Then I started to share and discovered that naturally I was giving sessions, a healing session to people, because my channel gift was for me on paper and hearing and writing, and then with people, just receiving people. The beginning was really with people. It was just spontaneous, that I was receiving their energy and their question, and then I felt like my ability to channel was just merging with the soul call, like in people, the soul is there waiting to be heard, and sometimes you reach an energy, or you meet a healer or a teacher, and this teacher is just holding a mirror to your soul, and the teacher can bring you the truth, can show you that mirror image, and that gives you realization, and that's worth so many years of psychology and work on yourself. So that's what came to me. It was like I was able to bring the message from the soul to the people, so they, instead of being deaf and not seeing, not hearing the soul, I was bringing them this ability to hear, to see the message of the soul, to see the message of life. Now it's time to move on, etc., etc. So that's what I do with people in private sessions, and I've done it for 10 years. It was amazing. Then I've given a lot of workshop, mostly in America, because at that time, I don't remember. At that time, in France, spirituality was not seen with an open mind, and where in America, in Arizona, I was really drawn there, first of all to discover who I was more, but also I met a lot of people who wanted to work with me, and I've given a lot of workshop, a lot of guided meditation, a lot of channeling, etc., etc. So and then, so that's on the spirituality, and so I then discovered so much about myself after so many years that I really felt I was 35, something like that. I had 3 kids, and I felt like, wow, I'm a dancer. I'm an artist. This is true from day one, because when I was a child in Morocco, we were, it was a very happy moment in Morocco. I was very lucky there to be there at that moment. A lot of celebration of life, and I was always dancing for parties, people, celebration, very naturally, and I was a natural dancer. And with years, I didn't want, or I lost the belief that I was a dancer because of society and parents, It was not a proper thing to do. So, 35 years old. 35 years old, I am there after having worked so much on myself. I really felt like, wow, a second energy boost in myself. Like, you need to dance on stage. Like, okay. So it's this pool of energy, like, oh my God, if I don't do it, I'm gonna choke. Okay. So I had that when I was going to see shows. I felt pulled to the stage so much. I said, okay, now I'm gonna try it, because otherwise I won't be ever feeling accomplished. And I did it. So I went to see my flamenco teacher, and these people were absolutely like my second family, because flamenco is more than a dance or music. It's an art and a culture, and you belong to a family when you work regularly with people. And these people really, I said, listen guys, I want to do a show, but not like a school show. I want to do a show, okay? So when you bring a crazy idea, people think you're crazy, which is first step, but that's okay. You have to face the craziness of who you are. Otherwise, you never break it, you never open the doors. Because at age 35, who wants to start a career in dancing, right? Well, so what happened is, like, I was so passionate about living my art, my gift, that I decided to go for it full time. I decided not to continue as a spiritual healer, completely, except for a few people. And so the spiritual healing and teaching was on the back burner for a few years. And and then after 15 years of dancing in different shows and creating so many things, amazing things, I felt a pull. I felt like, well, it's time to go back to my healing and teaching. And here we are.